Hi, it's TJ and Wendy Zito of the Rhythm and Motion Dance, home of the Vulcan Performers professional dance organization in Birmingham, Alabama, www.bhamdance.com. Here doing the move of the week. What we're going to be doing is some tuck turns today in West Coast Swing and Dallas Side Pass. Alright, so let's talk a little bit. We're going to take a sugar push, 6-count basic here. I'm going to demonstrate a tuck and then talk about it. So we're going to start off with our basic. 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Be leading the lady down the slot. 3 and 4, 5 and 6. So let's talk about this figure just a little bit. Alright guys, the first thing we're going to talk about here is we're not going to pull with the arm. So we are not pulling and pressing with the arm here. What we're going to do is we're going to initiate movement down the slot, taking our body, moving down and out of the way for 2. So guys, you've got a couple options here. I know a lot of times is I'll step back on 1 and cut the corner on 2 to get out of the way so the lady can come down the slot. You know, you can if you want to, if you kind of got a short distance, you're not traveling as much, you can go ahead and cut it on 1. Sometimes we'll do that. We don't have as much distance, but the traveling tuck that we're teaching here, and this is a traveling style tuck, we initiate our movement through our body, getting the girl down the slot, getting out of her way on 2. At this point, we're raising the drawbridge. What does it mean to raise the drawbridge? We want to always keep elbows down. Anytime the elbows come up, we're in a cranking position. So what I like to think about is if I was to take a tennis ball, and I was to put it underneath my armpit and hold right here, this won't allow my elbow to come up, right? So that's the concept. Yes, and it comes out with a very stinky tennis ball too. But, so that's the concept I think of. Taking that tennis ball, putting it in the sweat, right? Moving it back. 1, 2, so that way we can raise the drawbridge. Notice the armpit is down. We have a nice clean line. And the girls are going to take their French cross for N3. All right, so what's happening, guys? We're going palm to palm with the hand, allowing the ladies to have a window. So we're going to talk about the girls' feet here. They're coming down the slot. 2, they're crossing, and 3. And I'm going to let Wendy talk about that, what it is and what it's not.
What it is not. It is not 1, 2, and jump. No, not what we're doing here. It's a 1, 2, and prep. You're getting ready to turn here. So you're prepping yourself for that turn. You're not squatting. We're not sticking the booty out. And we're not doing this weird rounded thing that I've seen some people do. They go 1, 2, and they do like this weird round thing. No, that's not what it is. It's just a 1, 2, and it's a preparation for a turn.
If you notice, she's coming into contra body positioning right there, allowing her body to prep, as she said, to do the outside turn. So as we're stepping back out of the way, 1, 2, we're just bringing up the connection. Her contra body is actually making the connection in here. So we are not physically pushing into each other right here. And I've heard that described as before. We are not pushing in. It's the fact that her body's moving away, my body is moving away. So therefore, because we've moved away from each other, we have a connection that's happened between our bodies. All right, so guys, you can take either a touch here or start your triple step. You're going to actually lead the lady down the slot, allowing her to step through. She is going to continue her connection as we bring this around her head for 5 and 6. And ladies, you have 2 options right there. You can close the door the way Wendy did. So as we took our 1, 2, and 3, 4, you can go ahead and close the door sharply, 5 and 6. Or if you wanted to take your time and make it go around a little bit slower on the triple, Wendy doesn't like this style. But if you want to do in 3, 4, and hit your triple coming around 5 and 6. It just depends on your choreography or depends on the mood of the song.
I like the crisp, sharp look.
It just depends on what you're doing in that mood or in that song is the look you want. But the important parts of this is, guys, we're leading the ladies down the slot, moving out of the way, continuing her motion down the slot. So what happens a lot of times, guys, is we don't always continue that motion down the slot,
and
we
get
cut her
this big stall out.
So we get the 1, 2, 3. Okay, Wendy did the hop there. All right, so without the hop,
But it usually happens when the girl does the hop, you get stalled out halfway through.
So that way happens, and also sometimes the guys don't continue the motion. As we go in 3, if they don't continue the motion and they try to cut it off, the girls have nowhere to go. So they're trying to go under, and so we wind up pulling the hand. So guys, you got to make sure to continue, just as our body moves down, continue the lead, going down the slot, then circling around the lady, coming back down to her center point for connection. So it's one thing to point out is that we've got a consistent connection as she steps 4 down the slot. We've got a consistent connection. Her shoulder is going around, and we are making a consistent connection all the way around. So at no point are we losing connection. So when she's at this halfway point, we've still got a connection that's happening in here. We still know where each other, where we are as we're coming around. So there's no point where we have connection, we lose it, and then we don't have connection. It's a constant. All right. So
like a cell phone call.
Like a cell phone call, you have a constant. So as we're moving down the slot, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. And guys, with my feet right there, I took a 1, 2. This time I took triple step, came back into the slot on 4, squared up for 5 and 6. Also acceptable to do a 1, 2 touch step, come back into the slot. It's important that you come back into the slot on the 4.
And don't play Can You Hear Me Now with the connection. That was my point with the cell phone. You don't want to play that, where are we, are we connected, are we not connected? You want it to be constant, so you're not playing the, can you hear me now? Where are we, what are we doing? You want it to be constant so the girl constantly knows where she should be.
All right, so as we move her down the slot, 3, and we come back in the slot for 4, 5, and 6. All right, so that is a traveling tuck. We want to do an in-place tuck that happens in the slot. 1, 2, 3. We're maintaining our touch right here, leading the lady down the slot. 4. She comes around for 5 and 6. So notice this is just done in place. We did our touch. We've made our connection. We've made our connection through our bodies in there. Bring it through 4, 5, and 6. One more time. 1, 2. We touch. We lead it down the slot. We bring it back around. So realize, guys, if I want to use that style, I can still travel her, and I can lead a touch. I don't always have to lead her to the cross. So as I travel her, 1, 2, I can lead it to touch by making this a little tighter and shorter and not giving her as much room. So if I don't want her to travel, once again, say the floor's tight, we got a lot of couples on the floor, it's real tight. I can keep this nice and tight to where I lead it necessarily not to cross. I cut it off a little bit by keeping it nice and tight. All right, I always try to squeeze the traveling tuck. I like the feel of the traveling tuck. I like the slowness of it. But just realize that the touch step can open you up to different things. 1, 2, 3, reverse things that go into hammerlock in such positions. So it's always good to recognize that one. All right, last little thing we're going to cover is Dallas side pass. All right, related to tucks, yes and no. It's like the third cousin, I guess. It's just moving it. Yeah, the one we don't talk about. It's just changing hands and moving it down the floor. 1, 2, 3. We've made our connection. 4, 5, and 6 going over the head. All right. So just talk about some of the finer points of the connection here to make this happen. Once again, we're leading the lady down the slot. It's your option on this whether to step 1 and step out of the way on 2, or if you want to come to the side, but continue the lady to lead down the slot. 2, opening it up on 3. The key is, guys, as we go for 3 right here, that we are not shoving her, and we are opening her up to where she's going to travel down the slot. So we are not opening it way over here. We're not pulling on her. We're not pushing. All we're doing is allowing this to travel down the slot.
And ladies, we want a good turn prep here because you're fixing a turn. So you want a good, clean prep before you go for your turn.
So we're leading her down the slot. 1, 2, 3. We prepped, guys. It's your option whether to have the arm out. We've made our connection. As we turn her, guys, we come back into the slot, and it's our job to make sure we give her a position down the slot to come back to. A lot of times what happens, guys, is we lead the lady, we forget to come back down to the slot, so what we wind up leading, look, I'm actually pulling Wendy out of the slot now, and she doesn't know where we're going.
I have no idea where I'm going.
So guys, it's our job to lead her down the slot, turn her, so as we take our prep here, she's going to have plenty of momentum. This is not going to take a big stirring motion, just fingertip to fingertip, allowing it to come around. Now we're back into the slot. So that's the important thing, guys, is as we take 3, 4, we got to remember to come back into the slot as we complete our footwork.
And ladies, it's our responsibility to make sure that we stay in our slot. We can't be doing this weird, funky rounding coming off the track.
Half moon kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So as you come down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? So guys, what my feet did there, 1, 2, 3. Okay, as I step 4, I'm just continuing my footwork for 5 and 6 as I come back in. Ladies, very, very important.
You're going to have to squeeze at the end of this turn.
As you're coming around, squeeze and watch Wendy's feet as she has a roll through. So you want to make sure you roll through and settle. What you don't want to do is come out and pop. You don't want to come out and slam it back. Yep, you don't want to come out and slam it back. You don't want to stick the butt out. A lot of times you get ladies that finish their turns and they've got the butt sticking out.
They do this.
Well, when the chest comes forward, we've lost the connection, so we don't know where they're coming out. So as they're finishing their turn, they want to make sure that they have the roll through, so now their body is connected and we can lead cleanly for 1.